Oklahoma is mandating all public school districts offer free lunches to every student starting next month.
You're being triple taxed as parents, and we're not going to tolerate it any longer in Oklahoma. For far too long, we have seen public schools take taxpayer dollars that are there for students and continue to grow administrative costs, then turning around and charging parents for school lunches.
But State Superintendent Ryan Walters wants each district to cover the cost without giving any more state aid. Critics of his plan say this is simply not feasible, considering many schools operate on a razor-thin budget. Joining me now is the Oklahoma Superintendent of Public Instruction, Ryan Walters. Mr. Walters, good morning. You understand the criticism, people saying we just don't have the money to do it. Break that down for us.
Yes, sir. Happy to. School administrators don't want to cut the fat. That's why they say that. We have record amounts of funding in our public schools in Oklahoma. We're over $13 billion going into our schools. We have a record amount. We put over $1 billion in new revenue into our schools in the last 4 years. And schools, instead of hiring more teachers, instead of putting more money in the classroom, instead of putting more money towards kids to eat, they hired more administrators. We saw the administrator salaries grow over 14% in the last 3 years. We've seen administrative staff grow dramatically. And so what we're telling the schools are, we're not going to put up with you growing bureaucracy. We're not going to continue to allow you to bring on more admin. We want the emphasis to be the kids. They should be the top priority. The money is there. The problem in education isn't that there's not enough money. It's that the money's not going to the right places. So prioritize kids and let's get this done.
And Mr. Walters, I don't think anyone disagrees that the priority should be the children. My question, though, is have those who are wanting to implement this policy, including yourself, have you been on the ground in these schools and spoken to those who work directly with the kids?
Oh, absolutely. And again, they make all kind of excuses. They've gaslit taxpayers. We've got school districts that have over $100 million that they carry over every year saying, well, we're going to just hold this money over, and then they won't spend the $2 or $3 million to cover school lunches. It is absolutely absurd. But to be clear, what you have are administrators that want their pet projects. They want projects. Hey, they find money for DEI. They find money for CRT, for transgenderism. They find money to continue to grow administrative costs at records amounts. But when you say, listen, let's make sure that the kids eat. I mean, taxpayers have already been taxed once locally, twice federally for money to go into their lunch program, and then you hit them with a bill. I had a mother tell me just a few weeks ago, I mean, how is this happening? I pay X amount in property taxes. We pay X amount in these other taxes, and yet I'm getting a bill at the end of the month. How is that so? And it is because this is a predatory practice from schools. And again, we saw this with President Trump on his cutting taxes on tips. The middle class is getting stretched thin because government continues to attack them with these taxes everywhere they go. We're going to eliminate this lunch tax on parents and say, no, you paid for this. Schools prioritize the kids. I think it's pretty common sense to say the kids should be able to eat while they're at school all day. I think that should be common sense, so it's time they prioritize it.
I completely agree. Every kid should be allowed to, not only allowed, every kid should have a meal, because you and I both know sometimes there are situations where that's the only meal the kids get.
Yeah, look, absolutely. I mean, they're there all day. I mean, I had a parent tell me just last weekend, say, my kid, they stopped my kid from eating. She had a terrible day. She told me about the spiral of the day after that point. And I go, it's 2025. We have billions of dollars in our schools. There should not be a single kid that gets turned away after taxpayers have paid this record amount into them. That should be ended. So in 2025, here in Oklahoma, that's not going to happen. The dollars are there. Our administrators will prioritize kids. We will take care of this problem.
Ryan, I have about 30 seconds left. According to the Oklahoma state law, administrative spending is already capped between 5% and 8%, depending on district size. Yet now there is no law on the book mandating public schools to provide free universal lunches. So how do you plan on implementing your order when the money is already capped?
Yeah, here, let me be real clear on that. That is a very small cap. That is a cap on a certain type of administrator salary. Our administrative budgets, the National Center for Education Statistics show that over 50% of schools' budgets are spent on administrative costs. So over 50% if you include all administrative costs. So that's what we're looking at. That's the overall number. And again, we've got to see these districts prioritize kids by saying, we don't need a record amount of administrators. I'll just be clear. We have too many administrators. They should be getting rid of administrators. We should be putting more money into the classrooms. We should be putting more money into school lunches. And by the way, we also mandated these will be nutritious lunches. We are not going to allow the red food dyes and the synthetic material to our kids. Kids should not only be eating every day, it should be healthy food. This is critical. I've heard from parents all over the state that say, listen, I'm trying to have my kids eat healthy at home. I got to eat healthy at school. I mean, this is This is the future of our country. We have got to prioritize our kids, their health. The money is there. It's time to make sure that these education bureaucrats are doing their job.
Oklahoma Superintendent Ryan Walters advocating for students. Mr. Walters, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.